is up, my beautiful people? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is your girl Stella, aka STLA, aka Fairy Box Shop, baby. I hope that each and every one of you having a very blessed and a beautiful day, and that you are saying kind things to yourselves and to others. And of course, remembering to drink that water. You know you gotta stay hydrated, my babies. As you can see by the title of the video, Aries, we are gonna see what the cards have to say about what's next in love, okay? So I was being led today to just do a what's next in love reading for you, and then a pick a card reading for the rest of the collective. I don't know what that's all about, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna look into it. But first of all, we want to go ahead and invite in our spirit guides, our spirit teams, our ascended masters, our ancestors working the the highest dimensions. Let's not even like limit that. The highest dimensions of unconditional love and unconditional love only for the highest good of all humanity and life here on earth. Okay, I want to also go ahead and invite in my favorite team to work with, Archangel Gabriel, Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Metatron. You are welcome here. Okay, let's go and shuffle these cards. I have a lot of energy today. A lot of energy. It is literally 8 in the morning. I've been up since 3 a.m. just living my best life and doing everything. I've been doing everything. Okay, so I started a new schedule. I started a new routine today, actually, where I'm supposed to be waking up at 6 in the morning, but because I'm naturally like a third shift person, and I don't know, I'm ready for a change in my life. So like we've been talking about transformation, everything like that through these past few readings, and one of the transformations I'm making in my life is switching my schedule over to being a day person. And I just really want to get more out of life, you know what I'm saying? But let's go ahead and not talk about me and talk about you. Holy Spirit, what's next in love for Aries? I keep seeing the Seven of Swords, which is all about deception. And we have touched base briefly in the past couple of readings that because I know some of you are trying to manifest a partner, so I'm pretty sure that's why Spirit is leading me to doing this love reading for you guys. But I keep seeing the Seven of Swords, right? Which is all about deception, which is all about like I got eyelash glue sticking my eyelashes together, but it's all about deception, misleading energy. And we did talk briefly, touch base briefly in the last reading that we sat down with each other, that you weren't living in your fullest truth. By that I mean there was a lack of being honest about your emotions. And we did talk about emotional intelligence, which it's not a bad thing to not be emotionally intelligent. I feel like a lot of us have been there, right? If we weren't raised in a way where our parents literally taught us how to respond with certain like respond to certain emotions and stuff like that, if that wasn't taught to us, if that wasn't learned in a way that was specific to us, because we all experience emotions different, and I personally feel like fire signs and earth signs specifically take their emotions more logically than emotionally, right? So the emotional intelligence that you personally are going to be experiencing is going to be a lot different than, say, like a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, who is going to really dive into that feeling, right? Instead of the logic aspect of it, you're gonna dive more into like the feeling part of it. So for you, Aries, my advice is to first not be so harsh on yourself if you are being harsh on yourself about your emotions and not knowing how to deal with them, and just learning how to find a way that you can basically speak your own love language, right? In a way that's going to be healthy for you and other people. Now, we're not always going to get on with other people. We're not always going to be on the same frequency as other people. Some people are going to like us, some people aren't. We're not here to be people pleasers. We're not here to bend over backwards and make ourselves into a certain type of a person, right? So that everybody's happy, so everybody around us is happy. We did talk about that as well in the last reading, but not going so hard for people who aren't reciprocating your passion, because your love language is more of like a passion. It's more of a giving energy, a provider energy, right? And that falls in line with the masculine energy that we did also talk about. If you guys did not see that last reading, please go ahead and check that out. I'm just getting all these messages coming out right now. I'm channeling, so hear me out. We will get more into the cards here in a minute, but I'm just going to go ahead and let spirit speak through me to you guys. So a lot of the masculine energy, usually the love language that comes with that is like providing. It's more like giving, right? And I did also touch briefly with how I am a masculine feminine, right? In the way that I do things, like I like to look very feminine. I like to have like that aspect. I'm very well balanced in both my masculine and my feminine energies, but the way I like to do things, the way I like to operate, the way I like to, you know, live my life is a very masculine energy. I'm very logical and very practical. I'm very hands-on. I'm very action-oriented. And the feminine energy is more in the line of creative, receptive, relaxed type of an energy, right? So you guys can go look that up if you want that, but everybody has that dualistic energy within them of the masculine and the feminine. Some people just operate more on one frequency than the other. So we did talk about getting in tune with your feminine energy, of being able to receive, of being able to feel, of being able to get into that feminine energy of the emotions, right? Becoming emotionally intelligent. Now that is something that can be learned. That is something that you can learn, right? Like I said, I personally used to not have any like emotional intelligence at all. Personally, a little bit of information about the way that I grew up. Emotions were scolded in my house. They were not something that was welcome, so it was something that was deemed unfavorable in my household. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. So like I was saying, when I was growing up, basically emotions were scolded in my house. I had a lot of psychological abuse around that area. I'm not going to go too far into depth around that, but basically the only two emotions that I truly felt were anger and depression. That was it. That was it. And one of the things that I like went forward towards was I wanted to know what happiness was like true happiness. I wanted to feel love. I wanted to know what love was like. Those are emotions that I didn't really necessarily feel growing up, and that's something that I really aspired to have. So it is definitely possible to grow your emotional intelligence in a way that is more logical based in that masculine energy. It's just something that you have to like go forward towards. So you have to like want it, right? Which is why, again, I suggested if you guys need a mentor, a therapist, or anything, I'm also here if you guys want to book with me. My books are not open again, okay? I said I was gonna have them off for a month, but I love you guys and I'm here to help, okay? So yeah, so when it comes to dealing with those emotions and growing your emotional intelligence, it can be done, okay? It can be done. It takes work and it takes time, and it takes a lot of patience for yourself to be able to go into those feelings, because it's uncharted territory, right? It's different. It's scary sometimes, and then there's a lot of the like childhood wounds that you might have surrounding that. If you guys are resonating with the story that I just told about my own childhood, there's a lot of healing that needs to take place in order to open up your heart so that you can feel those emotions and feel the depth of it, right? So there is that. I think that is pretty much what I need to say when it comes to channeling. So let's go ahead and shuffle the cards and see what the cards have to say for Aries. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Lilith. Holy Spirit, what's up? What's up? What we got? Okay, so with that Seven of Swords, again, I just feel like it's a lot of self-deception. It's a lot of denial. It's a lot of suppression. We did talk about going into different areas of your life to avoid these emotions, such as like, you know, feeling something and then going on a run, going on a jog. 10 of Pentacles coming out here. Going to the gym, doing anything, like overindulging in work to avoid these deep emotions that you're feeling, because it brings a lot of other things to the surface, and those are things that you don't quite either know how to deal with. Well, that's usually why we don't deal with most things, because we don't know how to deal with it. So it's too scary to actually go into those feelings, because we did talk about the tower moment that would happen. It would just be like life shattering, but in a positive way. But while it was happening, it would be something like really scary. Healing is painful. Spiritual journey, spiritual awakening is painful, but at the other end, at the other side, you get to feel pure joy, pure love, pure happiness, understanding, compassion, empathy. It's the awakening process can be brutal. It can. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys and say it's all peace, love, and light all the time. There's a lot of intense emotions that come with the spiritual path and spiritual awakening, which is where that tower moment came in. But we did talk about how you were trying to manifest into the Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Cups type of a situation. And we do have the Ten of Pentacles coming out right here. And with the last two readings that we had, and we sat down, we got to talk to each other, there was the Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Cups coming out, which is just, it's everything. It's wish fulfillment minus one thing. So it was you trying to manifest that last thing. And for a lot of you, which is why we're here today, in this specific reading, it was a partner. But in order to obtain that partner that was really on your level, on your vibe, the one, right? The one. You had to go through this spiritual awakening process, right? Through this tower moment. And the tower moment doesn't have to be brutal. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. If you follow with it, if you go through it, if you accept and you allow it to give you that healing, to go through that, then it doesn't have to be that brutal. It's just more of a processing type of a situation. And you can process those things logically, right? It can happen. But instead of going and suppressing those emotions, as soon as those emotions arise, you have to go into it. You have to actually want to go into it. Okay? So the Ten of Pentacles is like family life, right? It's generational wealth. It's power couple, right? Aries, that's something a lot of Aries want, is power couple, because Aries, you are the first of the zodiac. You are the leader of the zodiac. Your statement is literally, I am. You are warrior energy. You are ruled by the planet of Mars, which is warrior, which is, you know, intense energy. And a lot of people can't handle that. A lot of people can't, you know, roll with that. It's also fire energy. So we did talk about your temper. You could be somebody who's quick to anger, who doesn't really, you know, stay angry for too long. But for some people, that gives conflict, right? That gives uncertainty, that gives instability. Aries, Capricorn, Scorpio, and Gemini are the most misunderstood signs in the zodiac, but it's just because we are who we are, right? So it's I know an Aries. I read his chart for him, and one of the things that came out is like only the strong survive, right? In that sort of a dynamic. Because you need somebody who's going to keep up, right? You need somebody who's going to be able to keep up, somebody who can match that energy, and not a lot of people can match that energy. As a Gemini, I definitely feel that, and I do have Aries placements and Capricorn placements, so I can be a lot for a lot of people, but I've learned how to maneuver in a way that works for me. And now that I know how to maneuver in a way that works for me, it's easier for me to help other people get in tune with their own personal energy, become more authentic to themselves. Instead of being somebody else, the best way to live your life is to be exactly who you are. And to figure out exactly who you are, you have to break out of your shell. You have to go within. Okay? So we got the Six of Cups. You know, I seen, I think it was yesterday, I seen the Six of Cups come out, and I never looked at the card this way, but I'm looking at it again this way. This man, he looks very, like, sad. You know, like, he has his dog, and him and his dog have just, they've grown up together, right? They're just, they're going back. The Six of Cups is always, it's about nostalgia. It's about going back within your memories. It's a thing about the good old times, you know, and how things have changed and how things got to be the way they are. And we also have the Hermit card and the Two of Cups. So this is definitely big love energy, okay? I feel like you're trying to figure out how to love, because I feel like in the past, your love life has been complicated because people don't understand you and you don't know how to communicate your emotions in a way that doesn't come across as like cold and cutting, right? So I feel like when you talk about your emotions, you talk about your emotions in a logical way. And we did talk about the masculine energy. So when you're talking about your emotions in a logical way, people might take that as like you're emotionless, you're heartless, but it's like that's how you interpret your emotions, is logically. And other people might see that as like, oh, well, you know, you're coming across too harsh, this, that, the third. And I mean, granted, we can be a little bit softer with the way that we speak, but if it's going to be a one-sided energy where you have to change the way that you speak to somebody, but they are not willing to also meet you at your level of how you experience and interpret and vocalize your own emotions, then it's an unequal give and take, which is not going to be balanced, which is going to fall apart, which is going to end in a way that could come across as traumatic if you're not somebody who does well with endings, with changes and stuff, or they're not, right? It is, I feel like it's just a really big misunderstood energy here. Okay. I'm so go, go, go. I don't have time for that. I feel like, okay. So I feel like you've been caught up in your head, first of all, in your head about an ending, a lot of endings. I feel like past relationships where people have just made you feel like you were too much. So now when you have certain emotions, you shut those emotions off and you become detached. What do you, look at this, I just pulled, what do you feel? So you become detached from your emotions to avoid conflict, which actually does create more conflict, which creates this unbalanced relationship dynamic where nobody's being heard correctly. And now I feel like even though you want love, you want a partnership, you would just rather be alone at this point in time, because it's just, it just feels like it's a lot of work. It's a lot of burden on your shoulders. You're not seeing how this could go anywhere. We did talk about like a player energy last time. So you could be somebody who would just rather, now don't take this the wrong way, because I got a mouth on me too, and how I speak, sometimes it comes across a little bit harsh. But you could be somebody who just likes to mess around with people and not be too committed, right? Not be committed to anybody, not really, you know, give your heart away to anybody, because it's just like, I'm hearing, I don't think anybody can even handle it. I don't even think anybody can keep up. At this point in time, I think I've seen what I need to see. And it's like, I want that. I want to obtain that, right? But I'm just not really seeing how. I feel like everybody's the same. So I'd rather just, you know, sleep around. And King of Wands is kind of like it's very fiery, passionate energy. So this is like Aries energy. Like, I would rather just stand in my power, stand in my pride, and, you know, just, coming out in your own reading, Emperor energy, okay? I would just rather not, you know, have to deal with that. Like, I'm hearing, everybody is so emotional. Everybody is just so emotional as fuck, and no matter what I do, it's like I have to understand them, but they can't understand me. It's, when I speak, it's I'm too mean, I'm too harsh, they shut down, I shut down, and in order to avoid this conflict, in order to avoid this difficulty, I'd rather just go somewhere else. Honestly, I would rather go somewhere where it's easier. I'd rather just, you know, go fuck and leave it at that. Like, I'm not, like, I want to be committed, but I'm not really into it. Because I've seen what I need to see. That's what I'm hearing. That's the energy that I'm picking up off you. There's a big wall around you. It's like a heavy burden. Because nobody's going to make you feel like shit. Like, you, I feel like you, I know. We talked about one piece missing. You're very successful. You're doing really well for yourself. You like how things are going. And it's just not, it's not worth having somebody come in again and just, it's a very frustrated energy. It's a very frustrated energy because it's like you want this, but it has to be the one because you're just tired of dealing with people's feelings and people don't understand you. They don't want to understand you. It's that masculine energy, right? So I've felt this before in my own past relationships where I've always been put into this masculine energy, and it is exhausting. It is really fucking exhausting because not only are you providing, not only are you leading, not only are you making all the plans, not only are you doing everything, but now you are being made to feel like you're not doing enough because your love language isn't very overbearingly emotional, right? Where, like, what's that Alicia Keys song? Some people need a dozen roses. Some people, you know what I'm talking about? Like, just to feel love. Some people need all of that shit. But it's like, if they would just take a second, take a pause to try and understand you, they would understand that this is just, like, it's almost like you have so much going on in your life that is, you don't want to even, like, emotions just seem like another exercise. It seems like another burden. It seems like another just heavy weight on your shoulders. And it's like, can I just be? Can I just be? Can I just exist and not be good enough? Like, can I just be and not be good enough? Because I don't feel like anybody is even appreciating everything that I'm doing because they're so used to me being the provider. They're so used to me giving. They're so used to me leading. They're so used to this, and nobody really checks in and is like, hey, are you okay? Because you've always been the strong energy. You've always been the leader energy. And because you've always been the leader energy, when it comes to dealing with your own personal emotions, you kind of determine that that's a weakness and you have too much going for yourself to even let one little ounce of weakness come in and interfere with everything that you've already built so far. Like, that is just out of the question. It's not there. You have so much on your shoulders, like so much on your shoulders, so much going for you, so much potential. And damn, I do feel for you. I do feel for you guys. Like I said, I got some Aries placements too, so we in this together, boo. I hear you. Okay, so we have the Empress and the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is about communication, and the Empress is about self-mastery in all dynamics, right? So the Empress and the Emperor, we have those coming out. So that is giving power couple, right? I feel like you do have somebody on your mind. That Ace of Swords is about communication, fresh communication, fresh new slate, new ideas. It has to do with Mercury energy, which is all in the brain, fast movement energy, air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. The Empress card is somebody who is grounded, right? Because you can see she's got the earth in here, so she's grounded to her earth energy, which is going to be that, you know, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus energy, and then the moon is up here, so she's also connected to her emotions. This emotions is led by Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So I feel like you have somebody in mind, whether you've met them yet or not, but you have an idea of what this person would be like. But it's hard for you to want to offer that because you don't feel like you've been made to feel like your offer is just not enough. Like, you've been made in the past to feel like everything that you do is just not enough. So, like, you keep coming back to this energy of I'm not even gonna put myself out there. I'm not even gonna take the risk, because Six of Cups again coming out. Past energy is just, it's fucking you up right now, whether you notice it or not. But hopefully at this point in the video, 25 minutes into the video, you do notice it. You are aware of it. Okay, so we had the Magician card just popped out with the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords did come out last time, talking about you need to rest and you need to go into this. You need to just recover and go through your emotions in a way that fits you, right? So for me personally, when I experience feelings, right, I see emotions as energy in motion. So I don't just have these things coming out, going within me. What I do is I go in and I transmute that into something that I can understand. And I'm like, okay, well, why do I feel that way? What am I like? Where does this come from? Where does this stem from? Is that my true feelings towards this situation? And I just really logically break down my emotions until I come to a point, a full conclusion, where I'm like, okay, yeah, that's what I'm feeling. That's what's going on. That's this, da, da, da. I'm very logical when it comes to my emotions, right? Ten of Cups coming out here too, but it's in reverse, with the Queen of Cups and the Four of Pentacles all in reverse. So we got some blockage energy here. Definitely still in some blockages. So let's go ahead and see. I want to shuffle these cards and see what is the advice, because I feel like we definitely broke that down a lot. Okay, Nine of Swords, Ten of Wands in reverse with the Page of Cups. Let me get a clarifier on that. Eight of Cups in reverse. So we do have 8, 9, and 10. So there is some progress here, but it's in reverse, right? I just feel like you really need to like crack open your heart and just really feel what you need to feel. Feel that disappointment in people. Feel that anger, that frustration, and just get that out. Because I feel like definitely one of the reasons why you might be quick to temper is because people, they don't see what you're trying. Like, you're probably a visionary like myself, where you've thought about everything before you actually do something. You're very in your head about things. You're very logical about things before you approach them. You might have some impulsive nature, right? But usually your impulsivity is based off practicality and reality, okay? So that rhymed. So when it comes to having your temper, it's like you like things to be a certain way because you know how things go. You can see where things are headed. You have an idea of how things should be. And so you get quickly frustrated when people put you into a position of doubt, or you feel like they're doubting you, or they feel like they're misunderstanding you because of this subconscious belief that even a small misunderstanding can lead to an unfavorable outcome, right? Because based off past situations, that's how people have basically treated you. Is like they're not willing to see you the way that you need to be seen, right? So we have trust yourself. I'm hearing, okay, so we have this again coming out, which is all about you need to relax. You need to take a break from whatever you're doing that's suppressing your emotions and take time to adore yourself in a way that I don't think you've ever adored yourself, in a way that's very authentic and true. Like you are a go-getter, you are a provider, you are a warrior, right? And that is something that you should definitely take pride in. Like, I feel like this is something that you definitely take pride in, but a lot of people can see you as arrogant, cocky, but that's not really who you are. You have confidence, right? You've built that confidence up, but I still feel like there's a lot of insecurity when it comes to certain things. And we want you to be fully secure within yourself, right? Okay. 8 of Cups in reverse. We did talk about hiding a depression. Okay, we did talk about hiding a depression. We did. And I'm getting from this Nine of Swords, this Eight of Cups in reverse, and this Ten of Wands in reverse. It's this frustration on everybody walking away. It's like, instead of thinking about the past, instead of thinking about all this bullshit that's occurred up until this point, your head is in the clouds over this way. You're not thinking about anything. You're just looking bright-eyed towards the future, even though in your heart you feel this heaviness, and you know that this heaviness is blocking you from obtaining certain things in your life, certain joys, certain pleasures. And instead of dealing with that, you're just more focused on your money. You're more focused on, if pigs could fly, then maybe it'll happen. But for right now, I would just rather be with somebody who is easy, somebody who I can just sleep with, and that's it. Like, one night stands, you know what, I'm for it, because it's easy. But I'm not down to be attached. I'm not down to deal with my emotions. I'm not like, I'm just right here. We're like avoiding, because it's upside down, right, which is a blockage. We're avoiding walking away from an old flame energy. It's still like a part of you is attached to this. You might need to do a cord cutting. With the Nine of Swords here, like, this person is just like miserable. It's just like, cut your losses. It's like, part of you is still facing this situation here. I want you guys to look at the way that I'm looking at it. Okay, so it's like this energy of like walking away, but right here in the middle, it's like cutting your losses. And then this person is walking away, but it's like all of this energy is facing towards the Nine of Swords, away from you. Like, you're over here. In the back of your brain, in the back of your subconscious, is all this heavy burden, all this energy that you just don't want to deal with, but you have to. If you want to manifest this new love, you have to. Queen of Pentacles, we have Death in reverse, Scorpio energy coming out here, a needing of transformation. With the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, I'm getting, you need to just pull back your resources right now. Stop focusing on work. I mean, yes, focus on work, but pull back a little bit and enjoy the wealth and the abundance that you've already created and you've already manifested for yourself. Take a moment just to fucking appreciate you, to really truly appreciate you and everything that you've done, everything that you've achieved, and the person that you really, really are. Because I get like you have like a false sense of self now because you've been beaten down by people not reciprocating what you're giving to them. And it's like this frustration, and it's like you want to tell people, but I feel like you have anger issues, and it's hard for you to talk about your emotions, so you just get angry because like you want to talk about it, but you don't know how to access that. So then instead you just get really angry, and people, I feel you. I can't even vocalize this energy that I'm feeling right now, because it's like you just don't want people to see you that way. You don't want people to see you as an angry person. And like, I'm not an angry man anymore, but it's one of the only things that like I like have an emotional intelligence for. Like I was saying earlier, like when I was growing up, the only things that I knew were sadness and anger, and everything else was very confusing for me. I didn't really know how to like go into that. I was like, what? That's foreign. I saw 333 on the clock right here. Okay. So that could be for somebody that could be significant. But I feel like release the dark wound, let love live, restore and replenish. I just feel like you just need to quietly sit with yourself for a while, meditate, breathe, ask yourself those hard, difficult questions, like, where is this coming from? Why, like, why? Keep asking yourself why. So one of the exercises that I did that really helped me, mental exercises, was like 7 layers deep is what it's called, 7 layers deep technique. And it's a good way to break down your fears and analyze your emotions, and get to, the authentic point of it. You could also do it in business if you guys are interested. You could it's really good for anybody to do with anything, but essentially you go, I hate having emotions. Why? Because I just don't want anybody to have to deal with what comes out of me. I see emotions as weak. Why? Because in the past, that's how everybody has made me feel. Why? Because I don't really know how to communicate my emotions authentically in a way that they can understand. Why? Well, I just don't really have the vocabulary for it or the emotional intelligence for it. Why? Because that was something that I never learned. And then you just you break it down, and then you can get really deep with that, really deep with that, and then you can like look at it and see, like, you know, where are your fears at? Where is your fear-based mentality rooted from, you know? And oftentimes it comes from childhood, and it could stem from one particular instance, or it could stem for a pattern of behavior. But it's never too late to begin anew. It's never too late to become a better version of you. It's never too late to tap into that. But if you want this love, if you are manifesting this love, it starts with you first, okay? That's where I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this reading, my beautiful Aries. I hope you guys liked it. I hope it finds you well. Go ahead and visit the description box down below if you guys would like to leave a donation for this reading, or if you would like to book with me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time. Peace, love, and light. Bye.